Welcome back to Tuesday Night Lights, SEL versus Great Lakes rivalry night, and Somber is joining me in the booth for our primetime series. I told you, Somber, this is beginning to be your slot on Tuesday Night Lights, and we got a big one between James Madison and Rochester Christian. But first of all, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. It's been some great weeks of Rocket League, both collegiate and the RLCS. I know it's kind of sad with the third split coming to a close, but looking forward to some much needed time off to kind of rest and regain for the second split, and of course still continue on with some great collegiate matches.
Well, we got a great one developing right here, even though it is sad RLCS Split 1's coming to a close. We have Rochester Christian versus BBC Academy. I had a quick turnaround, everyone, so forgive me for not resetting the scoreboard. But RCU's on the right side, or the orange side of the pitch. And Magic, I suggested this jokingly to him earlier when he rattled off a list of excuses as to why he may not be playing his best tonight, but he's got the girlfriend set up, retired plus blind excuse in the title, Somber. So, yeah, James Madison in 5 here.
And James Madison in 5 indeed. I do like Morvo's take, JMU in 6. I feel like, RCU is a very tough squad. Magic, been in the scene for a while. We know what they're capable of. Luca and Sky is a very nice compliment to them, but JMU still kind of figuring things out with bringing Pigeon in. I know that him and Gad have some chemistry, but still trying to work out the kinks. But it seems like Pigeon is already at the top of their game. Opening 46 seconds, they get a nice, clean, easy shot. Well, easy for Pigeon, that is. They able to tap that one through for the first goal on the board for the Dukes.
Yeah, that kind of speed does not come easily. So Pigeon does make it look easy. But I wish I could do that quickly. And he's just stolen boost as well, just to slow down RCU that much more. And I think this series is going to be largely about how Rochester Christian keeps up with James Madison. Because I know they're capable, but they're going to have to get creative when it comes to shutting Pigeon down. And then Gad and Ability are sharpshooters themselves. They've got great on-ball ability as well. And RCU at times this season, Somber, I don't know how much you've watched them, but they have struggled against teams that they should be beating, I feel. And I always have a lot of question marks around this RCU team, even when Magic is on his home setup, can see, and does have his proper controller.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we kind of have the reverse between the SEL and the Great Lakes, where when it comes to CRL, the Great Lakes teams, they're losing to these kind of underdog, underperformer teams, and it's kind of a scratch your head and question why. And then you look at some of the SEL squads taking down top rosters, and you then have the hopium and the copium of, well, the Southeast is just different, I guess. But, have had some interesting results to say the least, but still a very competitive squad, and a nice opening goal for them off the misplay from Gad. Looks like he wanted to get that last little reach out of the corner, not enough boost to make it, and Skies just comes in, the insta challenge, pre-jumps that one, knocks it through for the equalizer.
That's what happens when you start propping up the SEL like that, because I think that's RCU's way of reminding us that Great Lakes have won, I'm pretty sure, like the last 3 or 4 consecutive rivalry nights. It's been close. There's never been a 4-0 either way, but Great Lakes have won the majority of these rivalry nights, and today could be the same if Rochester Christian comes out here and beats James Madison to add to Michigan State's opening W in Game 7. And with plays like that, they might just.
Yeah, that first match, an emotional roller coaster, and I don't know about you, but I'm already emotionally exhausted after that, and I don't think that this one is going to let up at all. We're going to see back and forth games, back and forth plays being made from both sides. Like I said, RCU, they have the chem. They have played with each other for a bit now. They can make those team plays. They also have mechanical ability behind them. JMU still working out some of that, but the on-ball presence that each 3 of these players have individually is going to be enough, I feel like, to kind of close that gap. When you talk about a team that's still figuring things out as a trio versus a team that has produced great results together, you can't knock the mechanical ability coming out from JMU, but now find themselves down with 2 minutes on the clock, maybe finding the second one here. Great defense does come out from Gad, able to kind of put up the stone wall there, but the attack from Rochester Christian does continue. Pigeon with a great clear out, going to reset things here for just a touch.
Miss right there for Magic. I think one of the 9 lives or 9 excuses he gets for playing on the setup that he is tonight. But even then, I mean, I've been critical of RCU this season, but this is how they play when they're actually making runs to top 16 in CRL events, like they have a time or two this season. And their offense is looking solid at the moment. They're executing at a high level and slowing down James Madison in the orange end of the field. So no boost here for the Dukes. And that gives Magic some space as he collects the ball. And he better not look too good on the ball. Otherwise, we're going to take away the ability for him to make excuses. But James Madison, guys, what was that?
I don't even know. Gad coming across, ability just, yeah.
Oh, no.
Maybe a miscomm. You don't think that your teammate's going to be back in time, so you just kind of have that panic touch, try to bail out 2 last second, and it ends up in your own net. And you talk about ability, he has the ability to put things like that in the back of his own net. But, you know, down 2, minute left on the clock, you could still try to find an early goal here. We do tick down to the final 60 seconds. A big booming clear, going to be on net, but off target. Follow-up is no good from Magic. Being harassed by Pigeon just a touch and getting bumped out of the back of the blue net. Ability now on the breakaway has Gad trying to headhunt. He wins the 50-50, punches that one through the goal line, and that's a 1 through to cut the deficit back down to a single goal here with 46 ticks left to go.
And I love to see ability scoring the goal immediately after own goaling, essentially, or forcing Gad to own goal. Ability kind of passed the torch of that ball a little hot in the incident for JMU. So I'm glad to see him getting right back up on the horse. And I mean, I don't think an own goal like that, an embarrassing play like that, is something that'll phase any players playing at this level, because I'm sure all 6 players in the lobby have done something like that before. And JMU seem to have recovered well, but with 20 seconds left, they are still down by 1 and have to get creative. And again, they're kind of going the wrong way.
Looks like Gad was trying to get creative on a little bit of a redirect downfield, but turned into a back pass in their own corner. We do have just a few more seconds, maybe one more good push here. Ability fakes the musty, pops to the Pigeon, to the backboard he goes. Gad is up for the defense from Rochester Christian. Gonna get a big clear on that one. Put it all the way back into the blue half. And despite the late game heroics attempted by James Madison, Rochester Christian come out with a pretty nice win to start off the night.
Definitely. I think their offense looked solid. They were kind of gifted that 3rd goal a little bit, but they were putting good pressure on James Madison's back line. They were hitting their shots consistently. Defensively, they were playing together, and I think at times looking disjointed has been a hallmark of an RCU team playing, I think, closer to their floor than their ceiling. And so I'm glad to see this Rochester Christian tonight. It's refreshing, and James Madison could be in for a rude awakening if RCU keep this up. But we play best of 7s for a reason here, Somber. We got to see if RCU can keep this up.
JMU has had some time to warm up as well. Again, like you said, credit that own goal to their win there. We may have seen a different story if that one led to overtime, but same story here. It's going to be Pigeon opening it up in the early moments of the game. They take it to the ceiling and then just somehow find a touch through the chaos. Going to be off the rebound and off the flip. They follow that one through, tap it in past the goal line. JMU first on the board yet again.
And unfortunately, that's what it looks like sometimes when RCU is not on point. So rough look defensively. Skies, though, gets the job done this time around. And now they can spring the trap. Magic's first on the ball, but can't catch up to it. And Pigeon's got some space. And he's shut down by Skies. I was wondering how RCU was going to slow down Pigeon tonight. And while he did cause a little bit of chaos, and that last play out in front of the RCU net, I think so far, Rochester Christian has done a pretty good job eliminating his space to work with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it seems like Pigeon is also having to play much more of the deep 3rd man, and trying to turn solo plays into counters, and being up and early to the challenges on him are definitely making him a bit quieter outside the 2 opening goals, but a demo downfield is going to make his presence be felt. Gad now looking for a demo as well. Gonna count a little bit too hard for that bump. The blocking out the shot from ability. Retaliation downfield on Gad means ability has to play some defense. Pigeon looks for the doink. Instead, it's going to be a miss and a shot from RCU. Rebound off the post as well. One more from Skies. It finds the backboard. Ability up early. 50-50. Magic with the follow-up. No, it's the post again. And Pigeon with low boost is trying to now play against Skies. But a 50 there is going to put it right into the hands of ability. And JMU now on the counter, but no boost means it's going to be a free ball for Rochester Christian.
Still fighting over it at the very least. It's not completely free, I suppose, but it is a cheap possession. I don't know. Either way, it is still a midfield third battle that Magic will finally emerge victorious out of, and there's no one back outside of Pigeon, and that's typically, I guess, a good thing to have Pigeon back for you, but right there, James Madison take a second, recollect themselves, and actually do break out. That's pretty good considering how close RCU were to slotting themselves in open net.
Very much so. The defense had to come out. You got a little bit of help from the post, and now might find yourself in a good position if Gad can find some boost downfield. They pick up 1 penny and the full can in the orange corner. We'll leave this one up to Pigeon now. Takes the Skies again. Ceiling bounce of red, but Magic is quick to the read off the backboard. Puts that one across into the corner. Ability, one more touch to the mid. Gad looking for ability. Pigeon comes through, and Pigeon puts it under the crossbar. A little bit of a misdirect play there. You think ability is going to hit the cut. No. Pigeon up from the midfield, shoots it center of net, and finds the second goal here for JMU.
The shooting lanes are slim, but James Madison is finding them nicely, at least in the first half of game 2. So it's a good get-back game for them. After they did well offensively, I think last game. Their defense is where they struggled, but so far, so good. I mean, possession is 60-40, pretty much being played on the RCU half, but Luka will get one back here. A turtle goal is how Rocket League registers that, but he did do that all himself, just beat everybody in the JMU end.
This is how the scoring opened up for Rochester Christian in the last match as well. It was a early off the kickoff goal and then more poured in following. So if JMU can do well to not concede another, let this one go to equal, maybe find one more off a Gad solo play. Luka quick with the dunk. Pigeon though right on the backboard to collect some possession. Does flip past that one. We'll maybe get a little bit more of a scoop on it to clear it out, but ends up right back into their hands anyways. Luka to 50. Gad back downfield to Pigeon. They're going to flip past this one and find a touch out of the corner. It's going to be a pass to Gad. 50 to the backboard. Pigeon now trying to just play disruptor there on the sidewall. Luka not able to get the touch, but Skies does rotate in quickly to find it. Magic, one down to the midfield stripe. Gad out of the corner, and just let this one get put all the way back into the blue half, and Pigeon now has a little bit of room to breathe, but quickly is that gap closed as they are taking off the ball.
Suffocating bump right there. Luka was not interested to see what, not interested in seeing what Pigeon had to do there off the backboard. And now we get to fighting for possession all over again, though Magic, with the girlfriend set up, while he's retired and blind, had a chance there in a short staff situation for the JMU defense to make something happen, but the first man did well for the Dukes, and they will maintain their 1-goal lead here. It's gotten closer. RCU have done a really good job setting themselves up for the comeback, especially now with Pigeon missing. Skies can't put that shot on. It was an almost impossible angle for Skies to score with, but there are opportunities arising now late in game 2 for RCU to find a way back after conceding 2 goals in the first half of this one to James Madison, and since then it's been a slow process, but Rochester Christian have whittled away back.
Lockdown defense from Rochester Christian, and maybe a little bit of the reverse that we're seeing from JMU. Pigeon on that last defensive possession, a little bit jumpy trying to get that pinch off their own crossbar. Almost led to some disaster, but they did not get punished for it. They are going to have another good look here off the waterfall pass down. Gad having a 50 Pigeons touch, as that would have still been dangerous. And now Pigeon on a breakaway. Going to look to put this one to bed. Sky's able to intercept. Ability down below. Great 50-50 by the Dukes. We got a 0-second drill here for RCU. Can they find anything? No, it's going to be a hard bounce down off the ceiling. JMU come back with a big response game in game 2.
Cruel. I wanted to see that ball stay up on 0 seconds. Just see what RCU could do there, as they were mounting good pressure as the game went on, especially after the first half of Rocket League there. I think was still 60-40 field domination in favor of James Madison. RCU clawed it back, and it was 50-50 at the end of the game. So 6 shots to 4, they outshot JMU there, but at the end of the day, it is about the goals you score, and at this level of Rocket League, stats don't always tell the full story of a game. But James Madison do get their win, and they do tie us up.
Yeah, you know, the old saying, numbers don't lie. Well, sometimes in Rocket League they do. But yeah, Rochester Christian, they did a really great job kind of clamming up and stonewalling a bit in the latter half of that game. I think that JMU just kind of came out, and it wasn't the offense that they saw from game 1. It looked much improved, and like you said, the narrow shooting lanes were being found by JMU early, so maybe just a little bit of a mix-up to them, and they let their foot off the gas a little bit after game 1. But hopefully, for the sake of the content, we can get a much more locked-in RCU squad. They come back out here in game 3, and we have another tight contest.
I mean, I think they were like 1 or 2 better touches away from probably winning that game, because I think JMU's level stayed about the same. Maybe they improved a bit in defense. I don't know if I was watching their back line enough to tell you that for certain, but Rochester Christian, they played a good game defensively as well. Kept it manageable, but had a couple plays go a little awry. Now this one's a good spot. Luca is there to secure what should have been a Skies goal, but that's more like it. That's clean from RCU. Perfect 50, and they punish JMU's double commit there defensively.
Both players on low boost as well, so good on them for sticking with the play. A lot of times, Skies, they get that soft flick, and Luca, you know, a player that is not to Luca's caliber will see that and look at their boost totals and say 24 boost, maybe not, and they turn off of it. That turns into a relatively routine save for JMU, but put them on their toes and put them on their heels early and see what JMU can do in game 3. Possibly another response on offense here. Pigeon is up early for it, but touch goes the wrong direction. Gad is back to receive. They're off the sidewall, but not quicker than Skies. They're going to go ahead and launch this one opposite direction. Open net for the time being, and Luca is just going to wait patiently for the bounce and knock that one in for their second goal to open things up.
All RCU needed was a reset, really, or just extra time on the clock in the end of game 2. We saw how menacing they were looking there in the back half and on 0 seconds, and they seem to have carried that into game 3. It's looking very good for Rochester Christian. 2 shots, but 2 goals. Technically, Luca has scored 2 goals on 1 shot, but we won't look any deeper into that right now, as RCU have a 2-goal lead, and I think they're happy with us keeping it at that.
Yeah, maybe they're going to be happy with a third here. Ability guards that upper 90 well against the absolute snipe from Luca. This one's going to be a pinch dangerous off the JMU backboard. These Skies now trying to set something up for themselves. They end up finding a second touch out of the corner. Going to be a shot from Magic. They try to put that one a little bit too well placed into the upper 90, finds the backboard. Gad now, final launch, counter downfield, finds a demo and hands off possession to Pigeon. They go for the cringe. Ability doesn't even need to be there for the secure, as Pigeon just going to loft that one through. JMU now find themselves some offense via the hands of who else but Pigeon as they go for the bump. They end up eating the brunt force of that bump, but still works to their favor.
It was like a fingertip roll layup right there from Pigeon. He just scoops up from the ground, lets the ball go, and it sails into the back of the RCU net. That's pretty. It's a pretty finish, but JMU still will need one more. Plenty of time left here in game 3, and the offenses, I think, have finally found what works against the other team. And for JMU, I think the recipe is still similar. If you want some easy-ish goals, give Pigeon some space, and there up ahead you saw Gad looking to bump the last man, and it would have been close to a goal, I think, if Gad makes contact right there. Pigeon gets shut down. Now it's Gad's turn. With a little bit of room down the sideline. Not a whole lot of boost at the end of the play, but means a lot of space for JMU to move in with, though Luca takes it all away, and there is no one left in defense for the Dukes, and that's as easy as it gets for RCU.
Yeah, it looks like Pigeon was bumped as second man, and ability goes up, pushing a little bit too far forward towards that midfield line and just get caught out. And that's what teams like Rochester Christian are going to do to you. They're going to be able to find those little lapses, those little half second of, hey, both of these players are pushed just that slightest bit up. We're going to take one out of the equation, force the last one to make an awkward play and capitalize. Capitalize they did. They find their third on the board past halftime here. Now it is all on JMU to try to quell the fire that is this offense from RCU. I keep making that. I just got Robert Morris on the brain apparently. But that's going to be a fourth for Rochester Christian. And again, it just been lights out here in game 3.
And I can't blame you for thinking about Robert Morris and the series they've got against George Mason Academy, the show match after this one wraps up. It could be a big one for SEL versus Great Lakes if JMU find a way back, as Rochester Christian are firing on all cylinders right now. This is honestly the slowest that I've seen James Madison play in a series so far this season when I've watched them play. I mean, they've beaten good teams on my stream, on streams that I've watched of them, and when they played Bruton Parker, perhaps that's when they looked slow as well, but VPC is up in the top 20 right now of colleagues poll, and RCU's not top 48 any longer. So credit to Rochester Christian for looking good so far, but Gad has something to say about this 4-1 lead. He cuts it down one goal further.
And Gad does have that ability. I know that we talk a lot about Pigeon. Everyone does. How can you not? But I feel like as this JMU roster starts to settle in and find kind of that home play style, and you can start to riff off of that, I feel like it's going to open a thing up a lot for Gad and his mechanical ability, because he does have some sneaky mechanics to him, and he does have quite the nice shooter's touch. We haven't been able to see that much when he was teamed up with Tyler in ability. Found himself in a lot more of the second, third man role. And I feel like if Gad can start getting hot, JMU can find their way back into this. He got a minute 9, but man, Rochester Christian 5-2 have just been absolutely dominant here in the third game.
They haven't had to work too hard either for a lot of these goals. I mean, some they have certainly earned with pure outplaying of the JMU defense, but the Dukes definitely look awkward right now. And Pitch definitely seems off. He's missing things that I'm not used to seeing him miss. And RCU, to their credit, are right there to swoop in and score. And that's what's really helped build up this margin. But I think RCU really are just outplaying James Madison right now in that blue end. And we're going back and forth. One team outplays the other in one side of the pitch, and the next game, it's the complete opposite. Last game, it was James Madison jumping out to a quick lead and holding it. Here, it's RCU jumping out to a quick lead and continuing to extend that lead.
Yeah, I will say that this game 3, I don't know if JMU would be able to replicate this if we're trading blows and going back and forth for the whole series, because it really is just a lot of little mistakes and things that seem like they're probably miscommunications or just not being on the same page, or maybe not being active listeners in the comms, and you just have whatever's on your mind and you're not fully locked in, because this is a crooked number to have hung up on you in game number 3. It's going to probably most likely finish as a 6-2 unless JMU can find one more garbage time goal to go, but looks like Rochester Christian does not want any ideas of that. They want this stat line to show exactly how big of a win this was for them. It was a rough look at times for JMU, and it's going to need a lot from them to claw back some momentum and some wiggle room here into the series.
Well, 6-2 doesn't look good on paper, but if you just look up at the tick marks under the scoreboard, I doubt James Madison's feeling too bad about this show match so far, because yeah, it's a rough game loss, but I'm curious how they reset, because that was a bad game. I think they gave up way too many easy goals to Rochester Christian, as well as getting beat by the outplays that are kind of guaranteed with the skill on the RCU side. But going into game 4, I'm interested to see how the Dukes recover from it, because I know they're better than that. And going forward, we'll see if that is the case, or if RCU keep on burning them. 2-1 lead for Rochester Christian. Let's see if they can keep it up, as Pigeon has changed cars, and that's an interesting fashion choice.
call it the cheese buff from last season when cheese would come out in the most abhorrent presets and would come out and cook some of the top of the NA scene. So maybe it's a buff. He might have something a little bit more sleek on with the Bacchus mod. And this is just the kind of peacock and show. And maybe I got all these pretty colors on, but we can talk about pretty colors all we want. It's gonna be magic in the first 30 seconds to open things up on the scoring end of the pitch. And it looks like Rochester Christian gonna just pick up where they left off.
And apparently Desiree's PC is pretty darn good because Magic has been hitting some shots this series. Obviously not at full strength. He's had moments where I think playing on a different controller, different setup, Wi-Fi, whatever is showing, but he's not letting the excuses bleed into the series results at the moment. That's a big opening goal to keep the foot of RCU on the throat of James Madison here. And Luca wants some more, but is stopped by ability, and it's possession RCU, but James Madison is back with full boost.
Yeah, and talking about Magic and his quote-unquote excuses for this series, despite how him and the boys over at Rochester Christian have performed. He does have the lowest ping in the lobby, so maybe it really is the Wi-Fi buff, and there's just something different about that Wi-Fi connection. And third man got bumped back to midfield, ability just able to hit the E-brake, turn around, and score a wide open net. They actually were bumped out of the 50, spun out, and just kept with the play. But JMU, a much-needed goal here after many a scoreless minutes for them. They get themselves back into the swing of things.
And that is one of the tricks in the James Madison arsenal. Their bump game up ahead is solid. It's not just ability or just Gad or just Pigeon looking for bumps upfield. It's all three of them that are always keeping their head on a swivel to look for the potential opening that they can create with physical play upfield. And right there, worked out perfectly. Has an easy finish for ability. And JMU will get one back, keep us going toe-to-toe, but in defense, they double commit. They do get the job done to keep us tied 1-1.
It's going to be Gad with the save and try to get the counter started. Pigeon a pad too late to the follow-up, but they stick with it and might have a net to shoot on. They do. It goes post. Gad on the cleanup, though. Going to be good to go. And what looked like maybe a stalled out play turns into Pigeon going 1v3 against the midfield defense and setting up a wide open, beautiful net for Gad to go ahead and tap in the second one for the Dukes.
Good finish there. Good couple of beats. And James Madison have recovered nicely so far. That's what I was watching going into this game, and I think JMU have done quite well, though Gad's just missed that one. Ability's rebound is only a setup for Pigeon if he wants to commit or not, and he does not. That was too much of a scrum out in front of the RCU net for Pigeon to get baited in, and so JMU retool. Test Luca on the RCU back line. And Luca does well a couple of times right there. So we got to see how the rest of the team does. And Sky's next up. Does well as well. Okay, RCU, that's a great defensive stand.
Try to turn down to a downfield passing play, but defense from JMU quick on rotate back. It's going to be ability at the midfield. They're going to try to go 1v1 against Luca. Loses out that foot race. Now it's a foot race down the other side of the pitch. Gad now a little bit of boost. This Skies gets the 50 to go. Now looking to just rotate through, maybe find a bump and some boost pads to stay with it, but they're having to go all the way across to find the full canister. Pigeon bumping the first man out for RCU. Good beat underneath, and now have a good look at a setup. He flip, reset, uses it, maintains possession. Glue on the front of the car. Luca able to take away possession, though. Stalls out JMU for the time being, but sticking with the ball. Gad does get the fake. Ability back mid for Gad, and what a passing play between the two men downfield in Gad and ability to get a cushion goal here for JMU. Not just fighting to stay ahead, they are now ahead with a little bit of comfort underneath.
And again, it's always that narrative that Pigeon has to be the offensive carry for JMU, and right there he was the one player not involved really in the play for James Madison, so that's clean. That pass, especially from ability, was mighty fine. And 3-1, that will be James Madison's advantage heading into the final 90 seconds. We'll see if they can hold it here. Rochester Christian, they've made late stands before, especially in the game they lost to JMU earlier in this series, but at the moment, they're playing a whole lot of defense.
And this is what you love to see if you're a fan of the Dukes, is their midfield presence is starting to show through, and they're able to show that they can get pressure and get some consistent looks against this Rochester Christian squad, especially after that performance last game. The big turnaround for them offensively going to be great heading into the next matchup, possibly trying to swing the series in their favor. But unless some catastrophe happens, which it might, no Gad, great defense to keep away the caster curse. It looks like JMU is going to be pretty firmly in the driver's seat for these final remaining 35 seconds.
There's a lot of time to be saying that they're in the driver's seat, especially with Luka creating plays like that. Somber, I don't even think it's a curse. I think you were just straight up wrong right there.
Fair, valid, fair enough. I'll take that one. Sorry to the Gad family. Sorry to JMU. I'll take that one on the chin. That's on me.
Huge from RCU though. I get some back within one. 30 seconds to go. There is time left for them to create another late game stand, especially with a passing play, kicking off some space in the midfield. Magic though misses. And well, that might be one of the debuffs hitting him right there. We'll count that as maybe like the third of his nine excuses in this series for playing on the setup that he is playing on. Oh, it's in! Wait, that's in! How has Luka done this? 2 goals in the final 45. We're tied.
Again, what? My bad. Yeah, man. Just clean beat off the sidewall and no one's back. I don't know who the third man was and why the first and second man were so confident in that touch out of the corner. Gad gonna try to put this one down, but it's gonna be Rochester Christian fighting for a 0-second drill. They have the opportunity to go 3 straight, but JMU, they might just want to see overtime here, as they are going to not challenge at the midfield, and we got extra time in this series. All
right. Rochester Christian could seriously do some damage to James Madison's prospects in this set. If they take a 3-1 deficit heading into the final 45 seconds of the game and turn it into a win. But JMU have the first real possession, and RCU will cut it just as short pretty much as their offensive was out of the opening kickoff of overtime. And now Luka's having to play that dangerously backwards towards the RCU net. This is scary for Rochester Christian. Ability can win it right here, but won't find an extra touch. Now Gad's low on boost, alone in defense, and Pigeon has his back.
As always, JMU so good with the follow-up man on defense, but here a missed touch out of the corner might lead to something for Rochester Christian, but a favorable bounce for JMU. Luka quick to the ball though after the read. Gad now trying to stick with this one and push it downfield on low boost. Magic does win out the foot race to grab the back corner. You're gonna now just launch that one to the sidewall, looking for Luka. Gad instead gonna try to have a quick shot there. Skies with the defense. Magic with a flip reset to the backboard. Ability, big clear out. Guys, leaves that one up for Luka. Luka gonna just launch another one to the backboard. Gad with a save, and now with some possession. Plays it over Skies almost. Skies does get a piece of it. Pigeon now has a man in the middle of Ability. Ability gonna shoot Luka down below with the save. Gad has to play patient here as Ability trying to race their way back. A pre-jumping save does not go. Follow-up man from Rochester Christian not gonna be quick enough. It could have been the dagger there, but instead we still continue on. Gad with one more shot. Skies wanted the catch, got away from him. Ability with 50 at the midfield. Gad out of the boost, turns, change of pace, has ability, but Luka, great early defense. But JMU putting on shots, trying to pressure cook them right now and try to end this thing.
As JMU is building up that pressure, shout out to Ice Cold Brew for the raid. Much appreciated, bringing in a big old party to watch Tuesday Night Lights. Skies realizes that there are extra eyes on him now and look to create something fancy right there. And Pigeon, he's used to having the spotlight to himself, so he won't make anything crazy happen right there. But 3-3 into an extra half of a Rocket League game played, and James Madison still are in danger of letting this game slip, but they have solidified at the very least, haven't let overtime phase them.
Yeah, they definitely have shown that they got some ice in the veins, but do they have enough to put the nail in the coffin? Gad had the double lined up, and Pigeon just caught too far out for the cleanup goal. Gonna be now Rochester Christian trying to find something downfield, but they opt to challenge late and grab some boost, and might be the smart play. Now everyone has a full tank. Sky's underneath. Burst through a little bit of it to try to track that one down. A little bit ability to low boost. Pigeon quick to the cleanup. Saw the demo coming from a mile away. Luca pass across to Magic. Double commit in the air, but Luca is back down in time. Pigeon looking for a bump, harassing a net, and it is going to be good. You force the man high. Ability shoots low. JMU get it done with 3 extra minutes on the clock.
First of all, credit to Luca for almost saving that. He had the odds stacked against him and almost got out alive, but he didn't. James Madison recovered themselves after letting up 2 late goals in regulation, having to play a whole bunch of overtime. And yeah, those offensive numbers, I think is a pretty good sign that James Madison isn't too concerned about games that might get a little hairy, that might be a little bit of an extra puzzle to figure out. As Rochester Christian, credit to them, they fought back. Luca made 7 saves en route to dropping 900 points, but it was not enough. This series is tied.
Almost 1K is absolutely insane, and Luca had a chance to also put the dagger in, and he was the tying goal for Rochester Christian. And man, I mean, JMU, they want a challenge. They want a platform to come out and show that they can contend with some of the top teams in the collegiate scene. And if a almost 3.5-minute overtime after being up 3-1 to then finding yourselves 2 that overtime and winning it doesn't show that you can't at least hang in these lobbies, I don't know what does.
Well, they certainly can. Ranked in, I think, 43rd or 42nd in the last Colleague Top 48 poll. And I think that is just the start for this team. But if they want to advance up in the rankings, they've got to be beating Rochester Christian, who are just as good, I think, just on the outside looking in of that Colleague poll. But if you want to get above, like crack into the top 30 maybe, then a win here is important. Not to say show matches are the end-all, be-all for my rankings, but I do consider head-to-heads like these and how teams come out and play. And right now, James Madison, I think definitely do look like a top 48 team. I'm not discounting that, but Rochester Christian do as well. And they fought back nicely in the last game, but have to reset as their series lead has been taken away.
We know that just as quick as you give it up, you can get it right back. So possibly a big bounce back game, including the late game offense to get them back on the board and back to equal, forcing that overtime in the first place. And you can credit that to JMU getting a little bit comfortable. You can credit that to maybe the greatest caster curse I've ever had up until this point. Whatever you may credit it to, they did show that they can have rapid goals in succession to make it a close game. So they can open things up early here. May be a big difference maker, but 90 seconds have elapsed in this game number 5. Both teams scoreless. Gad looking to 51 through on the goal line. Pigeon getting one more look at this. Has a flip reset, taken away by Magic. Luca down below, able to get a pop over. There's going to be Gad to this one to the backboard, maintain a little bit of possession.
Gad's got boost, but he will let that ball go to Pigeon, who took a heavy touch right there and still planted that ball on the front bumper of ability. Still, RCU find a good defensive stop, and we'll remain scoreless here. 2 minutes in. It's a good demo. Luca will kickstart something here, but ability kind of returns fire. I think Goomba stomped Luca right there, preventing him from getting back to the ball, and this is where I love these two teams, duking it out for possession, trying to see what they can set up next. As Luca saw himself setting up a pass to Skies, but Skies saw himself rotating way back, and now that he's back, can he stop this? No, but JMU don't shoot a shot on target.
Yeah, ability and Pigeon a bit tangled up going towards the post, and Gad didn't want to overcommit, so good on Gad having the wherewithal to not send the house, as he did have every member of Rochester Christian in net awaiting a shot on a follow-up. And we still find ourselves at 0-0, heading down to the 2-minute mark. Pigeon looking to change that here, takes to the ceiling, has the reset, goes for another one. He's going to find a third without using any of them. Skies able to clear this one out into the corner and finds possession on the sidewall. Plays it underneath Gad, does spin out Skies and reaches for ability to grab some boost. Over one he goes. Luca and Magic both over on the right side of the wall. Magic goes for the hook reset shot. Clean up from Luca, is going to put it central, but Pigeon there to intercept. Gad Gets it past one. Now looking downfield for a bump. Does not find it on Luca or Magic. Hits the brakes as Pigeon, and he is going to fake out the defense and just pop it home to finally break the stalemate.
This is why I love Collegiate, because that play started off so messily, with James Madison getting tangled up with each other, and then Gad runs ahead, applies some pressure, Pigeon beats one, and then puts the last guy on a pair of ice skates, makes him slide past the orange goal line. And now, 90 seconds left, James Madison have themselves an all-important lead.
Guys looking for 2 touches off of the kickoff. Gad with low boost, tries to pre-jump that touch. Luca puts it dangerous. Did have ability on the pre-jump. Could not make good on the mistake by RCU though. Luca now trying to go 1v1 against Gad in the skies. Gad quick recovery. Does not get it over skies though. And there's going to be a ability to clean up at the midfield. And again, the midfield battle of possession. Both of these teams finding a touch to the sidewall, try to recover and maintain possession, but a 50 does come through from both sides. And with JMU being out in front, RCU really need to find a breakaway here, and they do just that. Luca, who else but the man with the ice himself, clean beat over the top, very reminiscent of how he scored the third there to force overtime. It's just third man a little bit too far up, get the quick pop over the top, and you find yourselves back to equal.
That is big. We haven't seen a mistake like that from JMU where they just flat out didn't have the proper read on the midfield play in a while, probably since the beginning of this series. And RCU again are happy to clean up on James Madison mistakes. Luca wants to add to it now. Hunting Pigeon there, but his prey gets away. Gad out to the side. We'll just send a clear long, but Rochester Christian try to connect a passing play. That ability was on top of from the get-go. A lot of good reads. Both teams are trying to stay 2 steps ahead of their opposition, and it is resulting in a grand chess match right now with another overtime potentially looming.
Ability out of the corner, has a full tank of boost, but does have to go coast to coast. It is going to be easier said than done here for Rochester Christian, but Pigeon now takes to the skies, gets bumped off the play, skies into the corner. Gad to keep it alive, pop over to ability to shoot, but Luca again with the ice finds their savior on the game and sends us to our back-to-back second overtime.
Luca's having such a good series on both sides of the ball, but defensively especially. Skies that stops the first shot from JMU, but it's nobody that stops the rebound. Gadira puts James Madison 1 game up in this best of 7, and they will have first crack at match point.
Oh man, JMU back-to-back overtimes and back-to-back wins. They show that they are icy tonight and find themselves up in the series, like you said, putting Rochester Christian on now double match point. This is shaking out to be quite an impressive turnaround from James Madison. They had that huge blowout loss in game 3 to go down, and it has just been a massive regain ever since.
I just feel like that was ages ago, wasn't it? I mean, that was the one game actually this series that wasn't a 1-goal affair, and it doesn't fit into this best of 7 between RCU and JMU right now, who are putting together a very, very entertaining showcase of 2 teams fighting over colleague top 48 spots this season. And I mean, it has been a fight to keep a spot in the colleague poll, no matter if it's top 48, top 30. This is one of the best competitive seasons of Collegiate Rocket League probably ever, with all the different leagues happening, national, regional, SCL and Great Lakes obviously included, CRL giving us 5 good tournaments per semester. I mean, it's been a great semester so far of Collegiate Rocket League, and this is a great showcase of that skill of 2 teams that really want to prove themselves.
And that's when you get the best out of both teams, is when you know the person across the pitch is just as hungry as you are for a win, for recognition, for the title of a top team in North America in the collegiate space. And right now, JMU is they're talking the talk and they're walking the walk. They've been continuing to say, we want tougher competition. We want to show that we can crack into the top 30. We want to show that we are a upper echelon team. And here, taking it against a squad that, like you said, top 6 teams, summer series appearances, they have the accolades behind them and the caliber of roster that they have and the chemistry that they have, taking it to them in this fashion. If the series ended now, I would say that JMU looks like one of those upper echelon teams against what they've been able to do against RCU, but they still have work to do. And they look to finish out the series here. 90 seconds elapsed, still 0-0 here on the scoreboard.
And shout out as well, I'm just learning that apparently Sky's family is in chat as well. Got a lot of families in Twitch chat. I mean, Gad's extended family is always in Twitch chat when he's playing, but got Sky's fam here, and I know Desiree, Magic's girlfriend, is here as well. So I love the support. Thank you all for tuning in for this, because these really are two teams hungry to prove themselves. RCU, Sombra, to talk about the other side of the coin, was a mainstay in the colleague poll in the fall, and they have since fallen out of it with some rougher results, and showing like this, if it comes up with a win, looks really good on your resume, but they still need a goal here in Game 6.
That they do. Gad just misses out on a little bit of a submarine play, but ability at the midfield, able to clean that one up, put it to the orange backboard. Pigeon now looking to go 1v2 in the corner, does lose out the battle, but wins the 50. Looks for the dunk as well, but Skies will be able to play a little bit of bully there on the back line. Pigeon bumped off that play. Luca down looking for Skies. Gad to intercept, ability on open net, and ability shoots, and he does not miss. JMU again, first on the board. You break the stalemate, 2:16 on the clock. And this is what we have seen throughout these last 3 games. JMU making good on these open net promises.
All right, 1-0, good start. But from what we've seen out of Rochester Christian, they will need more, I feel. James Madison do, and Ability's looking to provide it. Going backboard here, Pigeon was blocking for him, and that is an astounding play. Pigeon came out of nowhere to reveal that he was blocking Skies the whole time, and Ability tracked that ball perfectly.
And man, Pigeon, we talk about the offensive ability, and from a player so young to have the game sense and wherewithal that he does have to make plays like that, well-rounded addition to JMU, and you love to see it. You love to see the team plays. You love to see everyone eat on the offensive side, and JMU got a little bit of a cushion, but as we've seen, cushions can evaporate in an instant. So looking to go with more as Pigeon goes for the pogo. It is going to be off target and saved away by Rochester Christian. Skies with a flip reset, puts it in the corner, trying to put it away from the JMU defense, which is smothering. Pigeon change of pace out of the corner, now looking for a flip reset and a dunk ability, quick to follow. Not a lot of boost, but had the double, ends up pancaking there on the post. Follow from Gad is gonna be good. Don't even know how he sneaked this shot past not one, but 2 defenders.
Well, this is some revenge from earlier, because it was Luca that was dunking the JMU defense at the end of, well, I forget which game that was now, but that comeback that RCU posted. Luca found a massive dunk, I think, to force that overtime that you referenced, and yeah, just got a whole lot of revenge there and scored the 4th. And while we're talking right now, while the hype is high, I have to reveal that I've been a big idiot this whole time. Rochester Christian's ranked 32nd in the colleague poll. I don't know how I missed them. I thought they had fallen out of the poll with some losses this spring, but no, they are still top 40, top 35. And this, if JMU holds on, will be a very quality victory for the Dukes.
Very quality indeed, and it's nice to see their bounce back after what happened against Shawnee. They kept it competitive in a few of those games, but ended up having a couple get away from them, and the series did go in favor of Shawnee, but no ping issues this time. They are firing on all cylinders to close out this series.
And then while we're talking elsewhere, I do have to shout out Morvu. He's making it known in Twitch chat right now that he did call 4-2 James Madison in this series. He learned Pigeon was playing, and he was very emphatic in calling out that James Madison were going to win this set in Game 6. So, Morvu knows ball, and with 45 seconds left, I don't know if we've got another RCU comeback in a Somber, no matter what you say.
Yeah, I mean, I could try my best to curse it and try to one-up myself from the 3-1 up, but it looks like a 6-1 might be going in, though. Skies will deny, and down 5 with 30 seconds. It is all but a formality here to wrap things up. It looks like RCU is going to continue to try to put shots and try to find offense, but instead it's going to be JMU looking for clips downfield. Ability was looking for the highlight reel, and redirect shot does not go. But final 10 seconds here, and again, all she wrote on this, JMU back-to-back tight games to put the series in their favor, and then come out with a 5-0 walloping of Rochester Christian to seal the deal.
Yeah, that was some way to finish out that set. It felt personal after the 6-2 earlier that we kept bringing up. Yeah, James Madison got the better of Rochester Christian right there, even with, I think, what was a girlfriend setup buff for Magic, and Luca playing a heck of a series. Sky's playing really well as well. I would feel remiss to leave him out. RCU played great, but James Madison did get the better of them in enough games to win the series. So GG's there. And Somber, I'm thinking we ask Gad if he's down for an interview.
I say, why not get the man himself?
All right, we'll see what he says. But I do still owe him an interview because I believe the show matches that they played against UNCC and South Carolina way back. I think it was the first or second Tuesday Night Lights. I ran out of time. I told him I owed him one, and well, he earned this one. I didn't owe him a thing here, but we're pulling Gad in here. And he's got the soundboard ready for us. Gad, how you feeling?
Feeling great. Actually sick, but we played through it and got the job done. But I'm feeling great, yeah.
All right. Well, feeling great despite being sick. That's impressive. I guess things are always kind of stacked against you guys. It was the ping against Shawnee State. Here, you being sick against Rochester Christian. Still kind of had a flu series. I mean, talk me through the win against RCU, because that's a top 32 colleague team you guys just took down.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was just like, I'm sick. I'm probably not gonna play the best, so I had trust and ability in Pigeon to get it done. And, they both played amazing, so we kind of just played for each other and did what we had to do to win.
Yeah, I feel like the topic of conversation is always Pigeon and the new addition. I mean, I know that you guys have chemistry and you guys are real good friends. What is it like to have Pigeon, who's coming out from, during the weekends he's playing with 100X and pushing for main events, and playing in Swiss and playing against some of the best in NA, and what really is there anything that he brings from that side of the table into your guys' kind of vibe and your gameplay here for JMU?
I mean, to be completely honest, no. But, he's kind of a quiet guy, so we kind of just let him do his thing. College is kind of, his um, backup, if you will. He definitely focuses more on RLCS, and we let him do that. Um, but when we have time, we scrim. We're competing in multiple leagues, so it's not like we're not getting practice. Of course, the TNL helps with that too. But yeah, I mean, we're really close as friends. I think that helps a lot. We hang out on weekends and play Rocket League on the weekdays, so you know, we have that chemistry as well.
Yeah, just great vibes. And again, you talk about playing backup, but I feel like we also got to acknowledge you and Ability have had such great opportunities to kind of step up. Uh, Talk about how gameplay and game style kind of has switched up with him. Besides you guys, just like you said, playing backup to them, but in the moments where you guys do have these big games, is that something that is expected with Pigeon, where he's a little bit more of a focus, or is it really just that the quality of your guys' gameplay has changed from last split to now?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has changed. Tyler being more of a like defensive player, me as well. We kind of definitely had to switch up our play style because Pigeon is that offensive threat. So we kind of just let him work. I feel like I'm probably the best second man on the team, so I'm very comfortable there. And then we also let John work ability. Whenever when we're playing really good opponents, I'm there to hype him up. I always tell because how it's Pigeon always in the spotlight. I always tell ability to make them say your name. So yeah, we let John cook as well. Yeah, we I feel like we're just like I know it is mainly Pigeon that gets the spotlight, but I feel like me and John have definitely sorry. We definitely stepped up when we needed to. Um, and yeah, we're just like a really good team, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
apparently. I mean, top 43. Well, you were 43rd, right, in that last colleague poll? Because I know you were tweeting about it, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I was like, I don't know about this. We should be higher than that. But yeah, we kind of had unfortunate ping with when we played Shawnee. So I mean, they're a great team. But I definitely think we could have put up a better showing against them. I don't know. I just keep things just keep stacking up. Like I'm sick, the ping. I
Yeah.
don't want to make excuses, but that's why I just didn't say anything about me being sick. I was just like, well, I'll just play it.
Hey, still look good. And the last question I got for you: where would you rank yourselves on the colleague poll right now?
Um, I feel like we're up there with like the Michigan States, the Mizzous. We scrimmed Mizzou. We played very well against them. I think maybe we dropped a game. I'm not sure in an hour scrim. I don't even know if we dropped a game. But I think we can hang with the big dogs like Drexel, all of them. So I would rank us in like the top 25 if I had to rank myself.
Okay. Well, hopefully you guys get up there soon with wins like this. I mean, it's not too far along the path, Gad. I appreciate you joining us in the booth for your victory speech.
Yeah, and thank you for hosting this, and we've had a blast doing it. So more to come, hopefully.
Absolutely. And that does mean that's the conclusion of our second show match of the night. We've got George Mason Academy taking on Robert Morris. Sombra, I know you're watching that since you were calling RCU RMU at the beginning of that series, but
Yeah.
we've got that on the other side of the break. I do have to throw to the break quickly, but Sombra, I know you'll be back here. I appreciate you for joining me. And all of
Always.
you, make sure you stick around for the final series of Tuesday Night Lights 6, as we'll be back in just a little bit.
I'm doing